Alright, this is Andrew with Jota Home Inspections. Today is August 2nd, 2024, and we're doing a sewer scope here in Salt Lake. We're at 2045 East St. Mary's Drive. We have the camera pushed out 150 feet to the city connection. So this is a pretty lengthy sewer line. The average length of the line that I see is around 100 feet, so this is definitely on the longer side. The first connection point is called the nose on. Looks like you had a good connection point there. You'll notice some running water. Running water is okay, but what you don't want to see is standing water, where it's covering my camera head. Bear with me, I'm just adjusting my screen so that I can see everything as good as possible. It looks like transite pipe through here so far. Transite is a cement asbestos pipe. At least that's what it looks like so far. There's a little bit of discoloration on it. A little bit of a crack on the top of the line there. Maybe a root coming through. Actually, I just saw that move, so I don't think that was a crack. That could just be a spider web. In either case, that small, even if it was a little hairline crack, wouldn't be incredibly concerning on its own. I noticed several offsets with this line. Several. With this age of a house, it's not uncommon to have one or two offsets. This had maybe a dozen. And so an offset is where you have the pipes that have slipped on the joint. So you can see that little lip there. You'll notice as we get closer towards the house, you'll start seeing more and more of them. And the only way to fix an offset would be to dig it up and do a spot repair. But you wouldn't dig this line up to just repair a couple or the handful of joints. You would replace the entire line at that point. You have too many to justify doing spot repairs. This is a root, pretty good size one. You want to have the line hydro-jetted to blast that out, and then that's an access point. I didn't see it, but somewhere out in the yard you have a spot to access the line. Looks like a bunch of waste there. What probably happened is it was all caught on that root, and then I probably broke through it and pushed a little bit of it through, which is helpful today, but I mean, now we're at the third joint that's partially blocked, and so I think it's definitely time to have this line cleaned at a minimum. There's another offset, more roots, another offset, more roots, and another offset. Kind of get the idea. Like I said, a couple are not uncommon, but this house has several. That's probably the biggest one I've seen so far. That one's more concerning. Just like that water's pulling in front of it, waste could get stuck in just the right way. That's a pretty good size one too. I actually had to run water to get my camera head over one of these. I think it might have been that one. I was pushing my camera head and couldn't jump over the lip, and so I had to run water to kind of help me float over it. And a lot of times that's what waste is doing as well. You need that water running with it, or else it has a hard time. A little bit of PVC, so it looks like they've done a spot repair, and now we're transitioning to, looks like cast iron. This is likely what's going to be underneath the house. There was a wet wipe, right hand side, bottom of the pipe. You want to avoid putting wet wipes down the line because they can get stuck, and that can create a blockage. Even if it says flushable, don't flush them. So cast iron will eventually need to be replaced. You could have this line put coated, where they clean it with a chain cutter, and that would help make it nice and smooth again. But it still gets thin over time, and it can crack and collapse. Another offset or rag of some sort, it looks like. I would certainly recommend getting the insurance on this line. The tough thing is you don't have a crawl space, and so when you need to replace this cast iron, you're breaking up the slab. You could probably blow a liner through a lot of it until things start to feed into it, at which point, you know, you can't blow a liner over openings that, you know, toilets and drains are feeding into. But a liner would be a good option for part of the line. Where you have all those offsets, that would not be a good option, because you would just be putting a liner that would be very uneven with those offsets. So just to recap, you have a mix of cast iron and transite, a lot of offsets here. Cast iron looked pretty rough. You also had a lot of good sized roots in the line. The other thing I'll mention on the video, the master toilet had a really weak flush. I was concerned it was going to be backing up under the primary bathroom, which, based on what I saw, I didn't see anything actively backing up, which is a great sign. But there could be something caught inside the trap of the toilet, or it could just be a poorly designed toilet that has a weak flush. I would recommend, I mean, you can try to have the toilet clean, but it might be worth just replacing it. It's also very discolored and it has buildup, so I would recommend replacing it regardless. I'm going to end this recording now.